We expected to be overwhelmed with men anxious to be converted. In the light of what chaplains found to be the case, this idealism seems almost pathetic.
Chaplains arriving in France found themselves hopelessly ill-equipped to minister to the men who were fighting in the trenches.
The adjustment from parish life to life in the trenches was really quite enormous, and the chaplains department was very ill-organised. People would receive a telegram one day, they'd be on a ship the next, and the day after that they would be trying to conduct a service in a French square in the pouring rain for 1,000 troops.
To men who knew the realities of trench warfare, the comfortable certainties of Edwardian Anglicanism now rang hollow. One of those who joined up in 1914 was Oliver Huskinson. He was in a party of 12 men sent to the front line when the Germans opened fire.
I went along the trench. I heard this shower coming down, you know, these shells, and I went back. Out of that 12 men, there was 2 alive. One had both arms off. The other one was shattered. There was 10 men killed outright. Heads, bodies and all that showed all over the place. And I went back like the sergeant said, "What's the matter with you? Where have you come from?" I said, "There's only me." I said, "All the rest are out to then. Cut to bits." Those are the things you don't forget. Yeah.
Walter Williams was another volunteer.
I don't think they were very religious, not after they'd been there a while and seen their friends and not killed, blown to pieces.
We knew that we had no future except wounds or death. We lost our comrades today, it would be our turn tomorrow, and we accepted it as part of the price of our volunteering. And that was that. But as far as outward religion goes, it was conspicuous by its absence.
Onward, Christian soldiers, marching as to war.
At church parades, compulsory for troops not actually in the trenches, many chaplains kept up the official war cry. One soldier complained of
a rather bloody speech by the chaplain, telling us to kill as many Germans as possible.
Another wrote,
"The unfortunate Tommy was always expected to sing hymns about soldiers and fighting. Onward, Christian soldiers, fight the good fight, etc. You couldn't get away from it."
With the cross of Jesus going on.
Most chaplains, with their officer rank and upper-class accents, had nothing in common with the men to whom they were supposed to be ministering.
They didn't used to mix with them much at all. They'd probably hold a service now and again, and that's about all. You would never see them many time he came out the line, I never saw them. No, they weren't altogether popular.
Until 1915, chaplains were forbidden to go to the front lines on the grounds that it would be bad for morale if one of them got killed. It did nothing for their rapport with the ordinary soldier.
The chaplains had been where the fighting was and where fellas was wounded and doing their best for some of the wounded. They would have thought more of the chaplains.
The chaplain was somebody to blame. He represented God, he represented the establishment, he represented all those people who got them into this terrible mess.
When chaplains eventually were allowed to move forward to the front line, it was quite literally a baptism of fire, as Walter Williams discovered when a chaplain sat next to him on a makeshift lavatory.
The trenches run out into no man's land, and it was the toilet really, and he came, and he sort of talked to me, asked me if I believed in God, and this shrapnel shell burst not far off it, over the